Next, let's really talk about America. Before we get into the money and athletes going broke, because I know that Antonio Brown recently filed for bankruptcy. I got some details with regard to that. We got a clip from Josh Powell, who's a former NBA champion, and he's telling how he lost the majority of his wages. We got people that saying that they quit their jobs. We got Americans, missionaries that was killed in Haiti, and so we're going to go over that. And so we got a lot to cover. But before we get to that, because we are in Memorial Day weekend, it's very important for us to really understand exactly what we up against. America's ghetto. Very ghetto. I mean, there are parts of the world that, for whatever reason, doesn't get highlighted as awesome as it is. But in a lot of these places and a lot of these areas in the country, America is a ghetto. Absolutely 100%. Some of y'all are saying that y'all got the paid day off. So do I. You forgot that I get those bags too. Yeah, but America is a ghetto. How ghetto? Let me show you just how ghetto America is. For example, over in Philadelphia, they had 3 homicides in less than 45 minutes.
We're going to begin this morning with a little bit of breaking news. The long holiday weekend has been marred by an outburst of violence in Philadelphia. Police responded to 3 deadly shootings in less than an hour last night. Action News reporter Catherine Scott is live at police headquarters with what we know so far. You always enjoy hearing people being with family and having a good time. This is not what we want to hear, Catherine.
No, it's certainly not. There were 3 separate homicides in the city last night within about a 45-minute period. Detectives here at the Homicide Division continue to investigate the motive in all of these cases. Let's start with video from Feltonville. This happened shortly before 10:30 p.m. Gunshots on Rohrer Street by Rockland. Police believe several shooters began firing at a crowd that had gathered up the street. It appears that the group at the top of the block returned fire. Arriving officers found one man shot multiple times in his head. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators examined 2 groupings of spent shell casings, more than 20 rifle and handgun rounds, and another grouping of around a dozen at the top of the block. 30 minutes later, another fatal shooting, this time in Strawberry Mansion. Shortly before 11 p.m., officers were called to the corner of Cumberland and Stanley. A 23-year-old man had been shot and taken by private vehicle to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigators recovered more than 20 spent shell casings. Angela Booker from Philadelphia Ceasefire was out last night posting signs around the area working to stop the violence.
I was just watching the basketball game and I heard a barrage of shots. I come down here to see what can I do to help. If I could do some outreach, if I could interrupt if something took place, whatever was necessary. After the gun violence and somebody see this, they may be willing to call us to talk in case they were a victim themselves.
Listen, sir, let me help you to understand something. In the most humble way possible, I want to have this one-to-one with you, Mr. Philadelphia Ceasefire, Stop Shooting People signs with the Martin Luther King I Had a Dream man that's on the front of it. I want to help you to understand something, because we know that the Dusty Dusties, that's not a part of the Bag Chasers. If you're not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description. We know that the Dusty Dusties are going to say, it's the system's fault. Mr. Stop Shooting People sign. Let me tell you something, sir. You are a good person. Unfortunately for you, they don't read signs when they throwing out them bullets. Bullets ain't got no names. They don't care who they hit. It could be 5-year-old girls over there in Chicago, or it could be grown men over in Philadelphia, and 3 homicides in less than 45 minutes in different locations from different people. Listen, when it get warm outside, homicides go up. We already know that the police is going to be getting overtime because they're going to be going out there and putting the little dots by the shell casings. They are not going to your sign, and they are not reading your sign, and they are not going to say, you know what? I'm not going to shoot nobody today. Man, they already on their way. They loaded up. They got their switches, and they getting it in. Shout out to Chris Hutchinson. They getting it in. It's over. It's over. America is ghetto. Get low. Get all the way low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Get low. Woo! 369. Get low. Get low. From the window to the wall. to the sweat drip down my. All these, they get low. It's get low out here. It ain't ghetto, it's get low. Check this out. Even look, on a completely different side of the country. Y'all was over there doing y'all thing in Philadelphia, taking lives. Over in Los Angeles County, they was over there robbing 7-Elevens in mass. Listen, it ain't even just a singular crime anymore. They're robbing the 7-Elevens in mass.
A new string of robberies at 7-Eleven stores overnight, and investigators believe at least 5 of them may be connected. This happened in Long Beach, Lakewood, and Bellflower.
The cash.
Hold on. We them boys. Who is baby girl? I mean, I know that we always listen. If y'all don't want me to get distracted, then y'all better start putting some Ooga Boogers, some grizzly bears up on that screen reporting the news, because I don't even notice the grizzly bears. We just gonna keep on reporting. Who is baby girl with her real hair, no butterfly eyelashes, and got her eyebrows arched? You know what I'm saying? Slim waist, pretty face in the building. Who is this anchor in Los Angeles on the right-hand side of my screen over here reporting the news with no wedding ring on her finger? You know what I'm saying? Los Angeles. Y'all done came up into the competition. Y'all said, hold on, Miami. Hold on, New York. Hold on, Broward County. We here. Let's focus. String of robberies. 7-Eleven, Los Angeles. Go.
Registers all taken. Eyewitness News reporter Tim Caputo joins us live now in Lakewood with the latest details. Tim?
Yeah, and the good news here is no one was injured in these robberies, clerks or customers who may have been in the store at the time. The tough news is stores like this that are open 24 hours a day are particularly susceptible to crime in those overnight hours when these parking lots are empty, the stores are empty, and that's exactly what had happened at the store here behind me just about 4 a.m. when a group of robbers came in here and stole those cash registers, one of 5 7-Eleven stores in the Lakewood, Bellflower, and Long Beach area to be robbed overnight, and the Sheriff's Department believes they are all related. A string of overnight robberies in the Long Beach area overnight where cash registers were taken from these stores. The first one happened around 9:30 in Long Beach, and then the next 4 robberies in the Lakewood and Bellflower areas all taking place between 3 and 4 a.m. None of the clerks were...
Hey, walking up to the sign as a civilian, as a shopper, because usually you see the sign like power is out or something like that, generator is going. Hey, walking up to the sign and it say temporarily closed due to robbery is insane. It's crazy.
Attack, but the group of robbers simply grabbed those cash registers and ran off. All the convenience stores robbed last night are within about 15 minutes of each other. The final 4 7-Eleven robberies happened in the matter of a single hour, and it appears the group of robbers went from one store directly to the next. The owner of one of the stores, the one robbed just before 4 a.m., says it was 5 total people who carried out this crime. Listen to him explain how coordinated and how quick this robbery was.
Shout out to Lori Jeter. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly.
3 people walked in. 1 was female, 2 males.
Did he say 3 black people or 3 people? Let me see that.
3 people walked in.
3 people.
1 was female, 2 males, and 1 hold the door. 1 was in the car was backed over there. And the first guy walked in, took that cash register. The second guy walked in, took this cash register. And the lady looked at here, maybe there's cash register here. They were gone in, I would say, in a few seconds.
Scary moments and all for what? The store owner here says the robbers, at least with this robbery, didn't get away with much. One of the registers was empty, and the other one, he said, had less than $100 in it. No one was hurt in any of these robberies, as I mentioned, many if not.
Hey, imagine this, y'all. Imagine going in as a 5-person crew, right? This is not the movie Heat. Right? This is not Al Pacino trying to chase these guys down. These are very much criminals that are trying to graduate to the next level. Now imagine 5 people going in for a 7-Eleven robbery. Now, if you get caught, if you get identified on camera, you getting years, man. You getting football numbers. It's a possibility that you go into jail for 10 or more. I don't know. Over in liberal California, you might get away with it, and that's one of the reasons why they feel compelled to be able to do it. But imagine 5 of y'all 2 at the door, 2 at the register, 1 for the gas register, 1 for the getaway car. And y'all get $100. Y'all got to, listen, first y'all got to put gas in a car that you stole in order to do this in the first place. Y'all get $100. And it costs you more. It costs the owner more in the registers that was stolen than the amount of money that was taken. Because they do drops on a regular basis. And so y'all get $100. Y'all got to split $100 between 5 people. That's $20 a person. Like, when I was coming up, listen, I know that I was raised in an environment that was like, hey, listen, guys, you don't do crime. We don't do this, whatever. It's not worth it, whatever, right? But the one thing that I also, on my own, I didn't even need the church. I didn't need a father in my life, which I did have my father in my life, and he was a phenomenal father. I didn't need any of this to realize this. When I did the math, when I did crime math, I call it crime math. For everybody that's watching this show, for you future people that's looking to go to jail, let me hopefully put something else in your head that'll help you to not do crime, and I call it crime math. Crime math is, what are you risking for the reward? So if you go to the casino and I say, okay, listen, I got to put $1,000 on red. And if it hit red, then I make $1,000. But if it don't, I lose $1,000. But guess what? I don't go to jail. That's called the risk versus reward. And then you look at the percentages. Well, it's like a 48%, 49% chance, 47.8% chance that you hit red or you hit black. And it depends on if it's a double zero or a single zero, right? And it's the same thing with crime math, except for you got to do it a little bit differently. You say, okay, listen, if we go in there and we get $100 and we got to split it and we get $20 a piece, is it even worth the effort as a person that is not going to jail? But then you factor in the fact that you may go to jail and that one of the people that if they get caught and they spend their $20 too fast, that they're going to snitch on you. The risk is just not worth the reward. When I looked at dope dealers and stuff like that, and I was like, and I was doing the math, and my man was trying to hit me up and say, yo, man, I got that gas for the low and all of that. And I was like, and I was looking at the raid van, and they was coming down the street and this and that, and I had seen this, and I seen the crackheads and stuff, and I started doing the crime math. And I wasn't even doing the math to try to understand, hey, man, how are you affecting the community? I was doing the crime math to understand, how is this profitable for me? And I started breaking it down. I was like, man, y'all got to sit in the cold. Shout out to D. Will. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. I said, y'all got to sit in the cold, rain, sleet, or snow. You got to put your stash over here while collecting the money, hoping that they're not going to rob you. And if the police are setting you up, they going to watch to see where you go to get your stash, because you can't have it on you when they, you know what I'm saying, when they doing the exchange. So it ain't a 1-for-1. You got to take it, and then you got to go and get to the stash, or you got to have your homeboy do the stash. And then if he snitch on you, if he get caught, because you got to have bail money and you got to have lawyer money, and then you start doing the math of how many hours you sitting out there and it's cold outside and y'all not really making no money, you know what I'm saying? And if you get it on consignment, they want their money. But if you put your own money up, that means you got to move it. Otherwise, you don't eat. And, I was doing the crime math, and I was like, and I got to possibly go to jail for this? And if somebody do something, I got to go do something back if they don't kill me, in order to help people to understand that you can't steal from me. And so I got to make an example. Man, the crime math didn't add up. I said, bro, I can go and get a job at McDonald's right up the street and not have to worry about going to jail, dying, or poisoning my community and disappointing my family and getting that felony on my record, and I wouldn't even be able to get a job later on in life. The crime math just didn't math. The math wasn't mathing to me. And so at a very basic level, even if you remove the morals and the character and all of that stuff, I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all making less than minimum wage, and y'all dodging a man, and y'all dirty. Y'all dumb. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Anyways, but that's not the only thing that was happening out in these streets. You got to understand, it's bad out here. Check it out.
To a story you'll see only on 5. Devastating and frustrating news for some people in Chinatown today as they woke to find their cars had.
Is that a new baddie? I like girls with moles on their face. And she got on that velvet.
And set on fire.
And some of those cars were just charred beyond recognition. So now gone are the modes of transportation, but also much more for some of these people. Rachel Menitoff is live in Chinatown with reaction from one of the victims. Rachel?
Rick, Karine, people who live in this neighborhood were jolted awake around 5 this morning, and when they came outside, they found their block was on fire. LAPD hasn't been able to give us too much information, but they do say this is an arson investigation, and that's evident from the incredible damage and destruction that you see here. These cars are charred, unrecognizable, and you can even still smell the smoke from those large flames. We spoke to one woman, Cecilia Martinez. Her car was one of these that had been destroyed, a quite disheartening experience, as you can imagine. Listen to what she told us.
Now it's just going to be the hassle of having to deal with all the insurance, and like, I don't have a car right now, you know, like there's, yeah, insurance can pay it, but what happened to like all of the memories that we had in that car? I don't know. It was our family car. Yeah.
As if you got insurance. Look at these people setting cars on fire.
And we have some video taken by someone who lives on this street showing the cars ablaze. This is in the 700 block of Bunker Hill. Residents say they believe someone from a nearby homeless encampment is to blame, and tell us it's not uncommon to see random fires in and around the neighborhood.
But here's the key. First of all, they don't want to acknowledge that it's a lot of migrants that's out there, and those illegal migrants. That's number one. But number two, what makes this so bad in the string of cars that was torched over in Chinatown is that we know that in LA and in a lot of these new cities that a lot of people are basically living in their cars. There's a lot of people, especially over on the West Coast, that are living in their cars. So then you go out here and you commit these crimes, and you basically commit murder. You're taking a chance on committing murder because it's a strong possibility that the cars that you set on fire may have somebody in it sleeping overnight, maybe with their children, who knows? It's a dangerous, dangerous world and a dangerous game to play. So be careful out here is what I'm saying. Don't find yourself in a situation where, you are subjected to, or you try to prevent yourself from being subjected to anything that's happening in these streets. But America is very, very, very deadly. And it seems like during the holidays is when they decide that they really want to turn it up. They really want to turn it on, all right? So